Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. We've talked about this for the past year, and I have been saying for the past year he's going to get involuntary manslaughter charges, and today he did, along with Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the armor, 2 counts, Alec Baldwin, charged with involuntary manslaughter. And the interesting thing is the plea deal. We will get to the assistant director, David Hall's his plea deal. He will probably serve as a witness for the DA against Alec Baldwin and possibly also against the armor Gutierrez Reed. That plea deal, basically admitting guilt, that's going to be very interesting. That's going to be a huge, just a huge curveball thrown at Baldwin's defense team because he has all the information, as does the armorer. So we'll talk about that against Alec Baldwin. Hit subscribe to my super chat, Born to Raise Hogs. Thank you so very much. I cannot thank you again. Born to Raise Hogs, thank you so very much. To my super chat, I can't do this without you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much. And I appreciate your support. If you're watching right now via super chat on the live stream, the live chat, your support is greatly appreciated. If you want to talk about any aspect of this saga, let me know, and let's get to it. Paul Bartlett, thank you, greatly appreciated, Paul. Thank you so very much. Paul and Born to Raise Hogs, thank you so much. To my super chat, I cannot thank you enough. Greatly appreciated. Let's get started. Hit subscribe. Be here every morning at 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Pacific time. I will have segments this evening on H.A. Goodman's other channel, and we'll continue with the 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. segments tomorrow. This is a huge story for a number of reasons. I know that people aren't really too interested in it. I know it's been a whole year. But it's important for a lot of reasons. Number one, the rich and the powerful are getting consequences for their actions. For the longest time, people were saying, well, nothing's ever going to happen. Nothing's ever going to happen. He's rich, he's powerful. Um, he'll never get charged for crimes. And the reality is, it doesn't really matter. If you do certain things in life, if you keep pushing the envelope, the man was arrested 2 to 3 times. He was known to be not just abrasive, not just to have personality issues, but to go after people physically. And he never really went after anyone who could harm him physically. That's the type of thing. I mean, they said Trump was a bully, but really, Trump isn't a bully. He just reacts in a way that, polite society finds, vile. Trump is a brash, um, kind of in your face type of person, but he's not going to run after a reporter and try to like deck somebody. Okay. Alec Baldwin has gone after paparazzi. So that's a huge difference. Okay. Um, in addition, Alec Baldwin accidentally ended someone's life. Trump did not. So Trump Jr., Eric Trump, nobody that Hollywood obsesses over has ended someone's life. Born to Raise Hogs and Paul Bartlett, thank you again. To my super chat, thank you so very much. Yeah, man, I agree. I thought the situation was just to disappear, that he would pay lawyers to make it go away. Yeah, man. Well, you know what the thing is? Yeah, man. Thank you so very much. I think that what took place was I knew that he would face criminal charges for this reason. Somebody lost their life, okay? Somebody lost their life, and and you cannot get away from that. You cannot get away from the fact that somebody lost their life, and he was fined, and this is the big thing. Yeah, man, thank you so very much. This is the big reason, okay? New Mexico fined. Are you serious? What is going on here at Decline? New Mexico fined Alec Baldwin Company. I talked about this yesterday. And New Mexico fines film company. The film company was fined $140,000 or so. Okay, so New Mexico, the workplace safety failures and violations of industry protocol. Born to Raise Hogs and Yemen and Paul Bartlett and everybody here in the super chat. Thank you. So you have a situation where they were fined $140,000 or close to $140,000 for safety failures and violations of standard industry protocol, including testimony that production managers took limited or no action to address two misfires on set as prior to the tragedy. So and then there was additional training that they ignored. I mean, I don't think the armorer is going to get. I really don't think the armorer is going to get any jail time. Her father is a top armorer, and I don't think that the armorer is going to get jail time. I really don't. I think that the armorer was obviously, um, obviously one of the people to blame for all of this. So I think that's kind of an obvious thing that she's one of the people to blame. I do think though that if you look TMZ, if you look at the plea deal, okay, the plea deal. Assistant director. Let's see if we can find here. Here. This is the big deal right here. The assistant director, David Halls, has agreed to a plea deal for the charge of negligent use. He will get a suspended sentence and 6 months probation. This is everything really you need to know. I've spoken to a couple of lawyers today and a couple of attorneys, and they told me that this is the main issue. This is the main issue. He is first of all, I mean, I don't think you can really blame the David Halls, the assistant director. I don't think you can blame him, although he was negligent. Okay, obviously he pled guilty. He was probably running around with his head cut off, and like all assistant directors, kind of like, the person in between the crew and the producers and directors, and just running around and trying to trying to get things done as fast as possible within budget. The problem is they focus too much on budget. Darlene, hello. Darlene. Everybody here. Eric. Everyone here. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Henry. Um, hello everybody. Clotis. Hello everybody. Eric, hope all is well. So the assistant director, that's the issue. Okay. Why did why did David Halls plead guilty? So here, we'll just do a poll. Why did Assistant Director Halls plead guilty to testify against Baldwin to evade a longer sentence? It's actually both, but what do you think? Why did Assistant Director David Halls plead guilty to testify against Baldwin to evade a longer sentence? It is both, but I think that it's obviously at first to evade a longer sentence, but he's going to testify against Baldwin. That's the issue. The big issue is that Gutierrez Reed could possibly try to push for a plea deal also, although I don't know. I think maybe she was offered a plea deal and she said no. Who knows? Who knows? Um, I think that you're looking here, and the assistant director is the key. The assistant director is the key. The terrible way in which Baldwin reacted. So this is David Hall's. The terrible way in which Baldwin reacted. This I always felt was pure public relations. He knew the cameras were on him, and he let's say he did feel that remorse or regret at that moment. I don't really know if this man can feel remorse or regret. I really don't. I don't think he has that. I don't think he has. I don't think he has the capacity in the same manner as everybody else. I think he's a very calculated, shrewd individual who understands media very well. He understands that he has a media apparatus propping him up. Even the New York Times is like, well, the involuntary manslaughter charges spurred debate about responsibility on set. What? They spurred debate? No, they don't spur debate. He got charged with involuntary manslaughter. There is no debate about it. He should have waited for the armor. Its cinematographer should be alive today. She should be alive today. I mean, this is the tragedy about what took place. Okay, she should be alive today. She should be alive. That's the issue. And he faces 5 years. So the punishment is 5 years because of the nature of the crime. All right. And so he faces 5 years in prison. And I just think that, okay, born and raised Hogs. Okay, they were all offered a plea. Yeah, that is, thank you so very much, born and raised Hogs. That is bizarre to me that she would not want a plea. I would expect I would expect the I would expect I would expect the assistant the armorer to to have pushed for a plea deal. That's bizarre to me. That is bizarre. I find that bizarre because maybe she just feels that there's no way that she wasn't even in. That's a little bit of a stretch in my mind for involuntary manslaughter when she wasn't even in the church, though. Maybe the defense should argue that she should have been in the church, or maybe Baldwin will argue she should have been in the church. I don't know what prosecutors are going to say. I don't know how prosecutors go after the armorer. Um, maybe prosecutors go after the armorer, and her defense is incriminating to Baldwin. Maybe that's the issue because she had two jobs on that set. So she had two jobs on that set. Maureen, exactly. So the armorer had two jobs. The armorer was the armorer, and also I forgot exactly what. They initially had two armorers, something like that. Then it became one, and then she had to split the job between handling the firearms and then some other duties. So her other responsibilities. This is the really sad part of everything. The responsibilities that she was addressing during the fatality when the cinematographer lost her life. Those responsibilities. those responsibilities, um, she did not know. She actually did not know that they were actually rehearsing camera angles. So she didn't know. That's the thing. She did not know. That's the bizarre. That's why this whole situation is bizarre, ladies and gentlemen. She did not know. She did not know that she did not know that Baldwin, the armorer, did not know that Baldwin and the cinematographer and Halls and the assistant director and some other people were in that church. So according to her, according to the armorer, not only did she not know, but also she stated they were not supposed to even use a firearm for that scene. So they were not even supposed to use or fire the weapon. So the whole thing was just very bizarre. The whole thing is just very, very bizarre. Then there was closed circuit TV. I mean, I did a lot of, analysis on this, all public record. Then he's caught on, he's actually recorded. So he is recorded. So this whole thing was recorded, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So that's also a big issue. The whole thing was recorded. So not only was it recorded, but it was impromptu. It wasn't a scheduled rehearsal. It was recorded on the cameras, the camera rolling, but not the closed circuit television. That's the bizarre. That's what I find bizarre. There was closed circuit television throughout the set, apparently. There was closed circuit television throughout the set, and it wasn't recorded via the closed circuit television. So people throughout the set couldn't see what was taking place. Maybe because it was an impromptu, uh, rehearsal. Then the bizarre thing is that the ammo was on a tray outside. That is the absolute bizarre. Exactly, secret spaceship. Then they were plinking numerous days before. But the real bizarre thing is there were rounds mixed live and dummy outside on a tray. I mean, you couldn't create a scenario. It didn't even have to be a nefarious scenario here. It didn't even have to be like this nefarious scenario. It could have been simply people irresponsible. I mean, that's sinister right there in nature. If you're just irresponsible and you're dealing with firearms and you should be safe and you should always abide by safety protocol. That's why, like, I mean, the political component here is that you have a lot of people in Hollywood who think this is all a game and they don't realize the safety component. I mean, maybe on the set historically, you had people who didn't think it was a game and they were like actually um responsible. I just think that they took protocol regarding what more seriously than the actual firearms. Okay, so he's holding the what. You have a situation here which says everything about. All right, hold on one second. You have a situation here which says everything about where is the. Hold on one second. Here, this man is. You see, you could see that he's taking. If they weren't wearing what he's holding, it would have been a huge violation on set. I'm certain if somebody decided to just not wear the you know what. Oh my God, it would have been a huge violation. But live rounds mixed with dummy rounds, I guess it just happens. Okay. Or, camera crew protesting, I guess that's, just happens. And then you get the really disingenuous and duplicitous response from Democrats who would be all over Eric Trump or Donald Trump Jr. or Donald Trump himself if this happened, God forbid. But instead, they're like, oh, sorry, Alec. Oh, hope you're okay, Alec. I mean, it was nauseating. It was absolutely nauseating because this isn't a time where you show public support for the man who accidentally ended someone's life. I mean, last year it was like immediately you had actors and like friends of his on social media, or like the typical Twitter like Democrat on social media. Oh, so sorry. Hope you're doing okay. And it's like, what? What are you talking about? Are you serious? How can you like I never understood. And then he turned it into like, oh, he was the person who was suffering so much, or he and his wife suffered so much. Like, what? This whole thing is very bizarre. He's going to okay, he will go to prison, and it could be for the 5 years. Do not think he's not going to go to prison. He will go to prison. I know people, no, nothing's ever going to happen. Yes, he's not going to get out of it because there's no defense. Then you have here, they called it a miscarriage of justice. This distorts. No, it doesn't. And represents a terrible miscarriage of justice. This represents justice. The statement from Baldwin's attorney. It's absolute justice. He not only pulled the trigger of the firearm and lied about it, the Federal Bureau of Investigation had to spend months finding out what everyone on the planet who ever, touched a firearm already knew. That yes, he didn't just pull the hammer. He lied to George Stephanopoulos, almost certainly lied through his teeth. Okay, then he blamed her for telling him to point it in her direction. Then before that, he was on the side of the road saying, "I can't speak. I won't speak. I can't speak." And then he spoke. That's all he did was speak. And so you have there's no way he's going to be out in 3 to 4 months. There's no way. He will get at least 2 years in prison, at least, because he was too heavily involved in the irresponsible nature of everything. He was too irresponsible and negligent, and somebody lost her life. I mean, it would be like a drunk driver. Drunk driver's not going to get 2 months or 3 months, no matter how rich they are, if they end someone's life. I mean, there have been very bizarre examples of that taking place, but not with this, not in this situation, because he'll probably still be on social media. He can't stop himself. Mr. Baldwin had no reason to believe there was a live round. So what? What does that even mean? Whether he believed or didn't believe? Let's say everyone told him there's no live round here. Hold it. He still pointed the weapon and fired it. So he pointed the Colt 45 and fired it. What does it matter what he believed? He should have either checked the firearm himself, checked the Colt 45, never pointed it at anyone, especially in a rehearsal where he didn't need to be pointing at anyone. I just think that he'll get at least a couple of years. He very likely could get all 5 years. Also, his attitude towards if you watch, he was interrogated by female officers. You go watch his attitude. He copped the biggest attitude you could ever have. He was just full of attitude and hubris and arrogance. It was like the biggest attitude that you could have. within the yeah, exactly. He was very cavalier. Um, yeah, I think New Mexico law is it states that if you're doing something legal and somebody loses their life, it's involuntary manslaughter. That was the reason he was charged. Um, and I think he'll get at least 2 years. Probably he should get all 5 years. Okay, simply saying you okay if his okay he relied on professionals with whom he worked right here. He wasn't supposed to rely on the professionals. He was supposed to check himself, who assured him the firearm did not have live rounds. I don't know if the assistant director assured him of anything. I don't know if anything was told to him. Did he ask? Here's the problem with this statement. If he asked, "Are there live rounds in this? Is this safe?" Then he's admitting to the knowledge that if it's not, he could end someone's life. See, he was caught between a rock and a hard place this whole time, and of course he couldn't shut his mouth, Baldwin. So if he actually asked anyone, "Hey, is this safe to use?" he would have admitted that there's a possibility it's not safe to use. Okay, so he went to George Stephen, he's like, no, 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 no. I would never point at anyone and actually pull the. I would never do that. But he did do that. But he did do that. And if he's a producer on the set, also he's not. He's an executive. He's not just an actor. So he's not just an actor. He is an executive. So the armor wasn't in the church. If he relied on professionals, why wasn't the top professional actually in the church? That's a big issue. Why wasn't um why wasn't the armorer in the church? That's an issue. Okay? That's an issue. You can't the rebuttal cannot be he was told. I mean, this is why I think that he's going to get the maximum prison sentence. If you're relying on professionals with whom he worked, if he relied on the professionals with whom he worked, then why didn't he wait for the armorer? That's a big problem. She wasn't even in the church. I don't even know why she's getting involuntary manslaughter charges, which maybe because of the unsafe environment on the set. Maybe that's why. That could be why, because, there were live rounds apparently all throughout that set. Maybe that's why. And I don't know if her defense of, well, you know what, they were, making me do all these things. I mean, at a certain point, especially like if you're, in your 20s and 30s, the best thing to say is no, I'm out of here. This is not good. You're putting too much on my plate, and this is a very serious issue. A person could lose his or her life. What she should have done is just said, look, you know what? This and this is like Hollywood. They pontificate and they preach and they give these sermons. It's like the epicenter of immorality. They're known to just treat people badly. So their whole thing is, oh well, you know, oh, we're gonna work people, beyond belief. And oh, by the way, apparently they laughed at the union. Apparently they didn't care about the one of the reasons that the um, the film crew demonstrated and protested and left the set was because of union issues that weren't addressed by the executives. Of course, wonderful liberal Democrats who love unions. Biden even wouldn't even stand with the railroad union. Democrats love unions, except if it gets in the way of them making money. Then they don't love unions so much. But born and raised Hans, that's right. Thank you. Um, Involuntary. So 5,000. So 5 years in behind bars. After a thorough review of the evidence and the laws of the state of New Mexico determined there is sufficient evidence to file criminal charges against Baldwin. I thought that this would be a much more. I thought people would be much more interested in this, and I guess after 5 years, the story just subsided because people were very, very interested when it first came out. So, um, I mean, that was like a big, huge story. I think now, the momentum of the story, but people are not really. It's kind of, I guess, you know, something that a lot of people thought would never come to involuntary manslaughter, but it has. I just think that it is a very important story. You have somebody, by the way, I mean, getting into the politics of I mean, the Trump curse is basically real. It's actually not a curse. It's just the people who are most outspoken against Trump have the greatest problems in terms of personality and character issues. So, like, Michael Avenatti is in prison now. Alec Baldwin, involuntary manslaughter charges. You can't make this up. You just can't make this up. You just can't make this up. I mean, how many people are now either in prison or so you had Alec Baldwin has involuntary manslaughter charges. He faces up to 5 years in prison. Then you have Michael Avenatti, who constantly was after Trump. He is spending more than 5 years in prison, I believe. Okay, then you have Jussie Smollett, whose career is done because he fabricated a crime just to go after Trump, which makes no sense too. Which just makes no sense also. Then let's see, who am I missing? There's a whole bunch of people. Eric Schneiderman, the nobody remembers him, but he was the assistant. He was the attorney general of New York. Then there's Stormy with Avenatti. Stormy didn't make out at all. Stormy had, I mean, these people have like they're embraced momentarily by the left. They're embraced momentarily, and they feel that this warm embrace by MSNBC or CNN or cable and Twitter was a huge thing. So I think there are a lot of people out there that when they get retweeted, they feel like a rush, a sense of exactly Swalwell, Adam Schiff, but they feel a sense of like power. The secret spaceship! The highly educated, morally superior, apoplectic Alec Baldwin is getting cosmic. Yes, 2x4. His karmic gift for his cavalier behavior and arrogance. YouTube. Thank you. The secret spaceship. Well, actually, that was pretty. Born to raise hogs. I agree. That was pretty eloquent right there. The secret spaceship. Thank you. He is getting the karmic 2x4. That's a good one right there. The secret spaceship. Thank you so very, very, very much. He is getting the karmic 2x4. Absolutely. Uh, if there was a karma 2x4, he's getting it. Hacksaw Jim Duggan right in the kisser. Um, Remember Hacksaw Jim Duggan? He was awesome. He was in the news recently. Some poor soul, an intruder, went into his home and he had to take care of business. Imagine like you try to break into a house and you see Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He's like parading all around. Um, but then, yeah, he got his behind handed to him, the intruder. Um, that's what you got to do. You got to do a hacksaw Jim Duggan on somebody. But yeah, I mean, the karma here is unbelievable. I just don't understand how nobody like this story. Like, I don't get it. Nobody really is interested anymore, and I don't know why. I don't know why nobody's interested, or very few people. This is a huge, huge story. I mean, the political, there shouldn't be, this is about a tragedy. There really shouldn't be any political issues regarding this, although it's tied to politics. Um, Eric MD, hello. The secret spaceship. Thank you to my super chat. I cannot do this without you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very, very much. I know we only have 100 people on here, but nobody got notification. But if you know anybody who might want to join the live stream, please let them know. But you know what? It's really interesting. The trial is going to be very interesting. I think the trial is going to be something that people at least pay attention to because there's really no defense here. There is really no defense at all. So there just isn't any defense for Baldwin. I mean, I'm also interested in the Secret Spaceship and Born to Raise Hogs and Paul Bartlett, everybody here. I'm interested to see what his next statement on social media is because if you look, what is I mean, I love the New York Post, but what does this mean? Hilarious sports stone cold glare. What does that even mean? Why would her glare be important? What does that mean? Stone cold glare. Like I don't understand. Obviously, she's not going to be happy, but I just don't get the defiance. Jesus, every single time I go to the New York Post, every time you can't get out of it. Okay, here. So there's two counts, by the way, that he faces. Two counts. He'll blame Trump. That's right, the secret spaceship. He'll blame Trump. He probably will. That's right. He'll probably just blame Trump. Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's something that it's something that interestingly enough, um, I think people have just wondered what's going to take place. They're tired. Maybe they're tired of his antics. What I don't find normal. I don't find this is what I don't find normal. I don't find it normal that they were on social media all the time. Okay, that I find very bizarre. Here, this is an interesting one too. So this is Alec Baldwin. Oh Lord, serious. Okay, he wrote an article. Goodbye, public life. Here, so this is kind of hilarious. This is how you know you're dealing with a narcissist right here. He says goodbye to public life in 2014. That didn't age well, or that wasn't accurate. Alec Baldwin says goodbye to public life. Alec Baldwin says he's just no longer in show business. He does so in a New York magazine. Here, of course, I can't get to it. Oh, and then of course he uses what should have been a can- career canceling moment. We just won't get into that. But it's see, you got to understand these people are the biggest hypocrites on the planet. Alec Baldwin says he's leaving public life. He wrote about this in like this long essay. Oh my God. So he talked about leaving public life. So in a long piece appeared under his byline, Baldwin 55 writes that being labeled was the last straw for him as I loathe and despise media in a way I did not think possible. That's why he's on social media every 2 seconds. I loathe and despise media. That's why he had public relations firms this entire year. If he ate a sandwich, it would be publicized. There was nothing that he didn't do that was public. You honestly believe I'd give TMZ another club to beat me with? Okay. So he's angry at MSNBC, which canceled his talk show Up Late with Alec Baldwin. Could you imagine he had a talk show? Up Late. Caller line 5. How bad do you dislike Trump? If MSNBC went off the air tomorrow, what difference would it make? I agree with that also. He had dreams of running for office. Please do. Anyway, so you have this. He actually stated that he wanted no part of like the public life anymore. I'm done with public life here. I mean, if you could believe this, it's like you go from being done with public life to you go from being done to public life, Indy, hello, to not being able to get off social media. I mean, he just goes from one extreme to the other. This is the reason why you should never ever take anything Hollywood says at face value. These people are actors, literally they're actors, literally. Being morally superior and pretending that they care about humanity is an act. When they say I'm an actor, an activist, they're trying to pretend that they were actually a courageous person in the 60s or like 50s or 60s or 70s. Okay. There's nothing courageous about being an activist and actor nowadays. It's completely accepted. You're not going to lose, like, you would lose parts being an activist. You would lose income in the 60s. You're not losing any income now. You're gaining income. It's a money making endeavor to be an activist as an actor. or to dislike Trump. So there's nothing moral to disliking Trump. It's just part of an act. To my super chat again, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. A secret spaceship, thank you. Born to raise hogs, yeah, man. Paul, everybody here, thank you so much. But that's right. It's interesting because you have 5 years, and this is going to be an interesting this is going to be an interesting trial. It will be very amusing to see the Baldwins not be on social media. Like, what are they going to say from here on out? Suddenly, like, how are you? Oh, we're on our yacht, or like, what is it going to be? Like, oh, we're celebrating Halloween. Well, but you know, are you paying the lawyers for the defense for the involuntary manslaughter? I don't understand. Like from here on out, what? Because they live on social media. So what's their next message on Instagram? I don't even get it. And I do feel bad for because he has like a whole bunch of kids and he has a big family. I feel bad for the family, but not. I feel bad for the innocent. Like they had nothing to do with Alec Baldwin's behavior, you know. But I mean, here's this man. He's like, it's not. He's not just a narcissist. He is such a he's such a grandstanding. It lacks character. Like a man like Baldwin he replaces or he confuses bravado for character. Bravado and being boisterous or belligerent doesn't mean you have integrity or character. It just means you're a hothead. It just means you're a hothead. Being easily angered is not a virtue. It's a problem. It's a big problem. Exactly. You go. Exactly. I don't think that I don't even think that he's even learned any lesson right now. I think that he knew very well he was going to be charged from day one. I think that he was probably oh no, no, I feel bad for the kids, not him. But he was probably that's why he was acting in such a bizarre manner this whole time. Because he was thinking, okay, I'm going to utilize every moment for the next year to try to portray how innocent I am, while at the same time deriving, because sadly, he actually gained social media status after accidentally ending someone's life. That's like a sad reality. That's like a sad reality as to what happened, you know. And the thing is, at the end of the day, all of these like he's hosting Hollywood galas, he's still hosting these things. There is just simply no ethics involved. These are the people who pontificate about Trump, but they still do business with Alec Baldwin and everyone else. I mean, you can look at the director or the producer that's now behind bars forever, okay, for doing really despicable things to women. Um, Actually, mentioning his name was a big algorithm thing years back, if you can believe that. But I mean, you have a situation where all of these actors and producers, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them are just committing crimes and acting in the most despicable manner. And of course, you have Meathead on Twitter every day. Ah, democracy means that Trump needs to go to Alcatraz. It's never ending. It's just never ending. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. I wanted to do this quick live stream I will be back in about an hour or so with an upload. Um, well, actually, let's continue. We'll see. Let's continue for 10 minutes. It's actually the finally. I have 113 viewers. Yay! I'm very honored that even 113 showed up. None of the exactly the secret spaceship. I don't think anybody got a notification. Go orange or go home. Exactly. No PhD. Hello. S23. Hello. I just think that this is, thank you, life. Hello. This is a very, very bizarre, uh, it's a very sad, bizarre state of affairs. We'll go 10 more minutes, everybody. It's a very sad, bizarre state of affairs. Somebody is, this is also really, really bizarre, also. Does he still, oh, Lord, I don't want to go to alecbaldwin.com. This is a bizarre thing. Does it show his political affiliation? Political party. Why? What does that mean? This is how you know this man is political party Democrat. You can see right here. Why would that be part of who you are? Most Wikipedia profiles do not have political party. And that's the problem with America in this day and age. It's supposed to be this Encyclopedia Britannica. Let's see if it's philanthropy. Oh, philanthropy. The philanthropy section is the smallest section here. Political views. They haven't even. Oh, fine. Finally, they added it. It's just one little sentence here. Just one sentence. Health and dieting. Baldwin adopted a vegan diet in 2011. Wow. Political views. This man was hooked up, but he's not hooked up enough to get out of a situation, terrible situation. Why the bold is the bold prosecution? What? How about, oh, he ended a woman's life and he got what he deserved? I love how like the liberal publications are trying desperately to make this out to be like, here, Alec Baldwin has spurred debate on responsibility. No, they didn't spur any debate. New York Times. There is no debate. He was charged for involuntary manslaughter. Where's the debate there? That should have ended any debate. All right, everybody. Thank you so very, very much. To my super chat, Chris, hello. To my super chat, thank you very much. And there weren't a lot of people here just because there was no notification. But everybody, thank you so very, very much. Secret spaceship, hello. Peanut the butter, thank you. Um, everybody here, have a beautiful evening. I should be back. I'll have an upload in about an hour and a half or so. So be here in about an hour and a half every day, 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. people on this channel, H.A. Goodman. Things will start heating up towards, for the next, from here on out to the end of the month of January. I'll do a lot more on Congress. I was focusing on the Alec Baldwin issue. I don't get why people aren't that interested, but it's been a long and arduous process. So I think people just lost interest. But this is actually a paradigm changing moment, ladies and gentlemen, for a lot of reasons. But thank you for tuning in. Everybody here. Thanks, everybody. Eric, Sky Queen, everybody here. Thank you. Rob, I will see you all later. Be here. Indy, thank you. Be here in about 1 hour.